jam-packed show, I have to say. On the show today, we're going to be finding out if the advantages of taking drugs such as Ozempic outweigh the disadvantages. Do we all really need life insurance? We'll be asking Zurich. And as part of Iron Health, comedian Russell Kane and his wife will be talking about the first baby expo in Dubai. They're going to be taking part in that. And what kind of impact does screen time have on children and ourselves? And how can parents manage it? All that plus much more after the news. Now, a Middle East claims report reveals that heart attack, stroke and cancer account for 60% of life insurance claims in this region. And before we get to the key findings, I want to break down the facts of life insurance, because every time I press the wrong button on this radio station, I do feel like I need life insurance. It gives me many heart attacks. And with me now is Sanaya Suberi, the Senior Digital Marketing Lead at Zurich. Welcome to the show, Sanaya.
Hello.
Hello. So, do you have life insurance, Sanaya?
Yes,
You'll probably need it after the show.
Yes.
Right. How does life insurance work? Break it down for us.
All right. So I'm going to put this really, really simply for you.
Please do.
If something bad happens to you, life insurance will pay out a sum of money that is part of your policy to your loved ones or whoever you selected as your beneficiary. Mm-hmm. That's what life insurance is in simple terms.
Okay, but how much do you have to put away? Is it a monthly thing, an annual thing? Is there a minimum charge?
It could be a monthly thing. It could be an annual thing. You can decide how often you want to pay your premiums and when you want to pay them.
And then you have to say, for example, who you want the beneficiary to be, right?
Absolutely. And that's key and you can update your beneficiary as you go along in life.
Okay, so if you don't like someone, you can throw them out.
Absolutely. And it changes, right? As your life evolves, you get married, you have children.
You get divorced. I'm trying to add some light to this because we are talking about really,
it is a dark topic.
When you drop dead, I know. Okay, here's the thing about it. I just have a few questions personally. Let's say a person has invested money, let's say in property or stocks and shares, and they're making a good profit. Mm-hmm. And in their will, they say, if anything happens to me, it goes to my family or kids. Mm-hmm. What's the difference between that and life insurance? Because you're still putting money away.
That's a great question. And, what I would suggest is everyone's journey is different. Everyone's requirement is different. So I would start by saying, talk to your financial advisor, because they're going to help you understand how you need to, put this money aside, what money you need to put aside, and when you need to do it. And that's what I would suggest if you're confused about this.
All right. Neelam says, at what age should we get life insurance?
The earlier the better.
What is the earlier? Like when you're born?
No.
We have another guest in the studio. We're going to be talking to him, Prateek, and he's nodding his head. He's like, yeah. No, seriously, what kind of age? Because you need to have money to invest in it in the first place.
Look, when you start earning, when you start, you start getting a salary, that's when you start putting aside money for yourself. I don't know about you, Poonam, but we're Indian, and we, our families invest for us in life insurance as we once we're born itself. So we start our premiums much earlier via them. But I would say earlier the better, because your premiums are going to cost less. If you get it later, it's going to cost much more as opposed to when you start early. So that's an important consideration.
So one lady joining me now is Meher Sudari, and she has her own story about this. Meher, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hi, Poonam. Thank you so much for welcoming me. Thank you. I'm fine. I'm doing great. Thank you for asking.
Now, tell us a little bit about your story, please, and just what you'd advise people when it comes to life insurance.
Okay. I'm married. So my husband in 2018, he was sick with cancer. So we had a child. She was only 5 years old at the time. And when he was diagnosed with cancer, today is even his 50th anniversary, death anniversary.
So he passed away.
Yeah, he passed away 8 months after the diagnosis. The time that he was sick, we don't have any health insurance or any medical fund or any life insurance in place. We were a young couple. So when that happened, it came in shock because why? He is healthy, a very healthy young person who is athletic. He does not even want his tummy to go big. So for that cancer to be found out in his body, it was really a shock to us. And our finances was really out of whack. can you imagine going to chemotherapy like twice in a month, and then all this blood transfusion? So really, the finances was so tight. We were in debt, and we even had to sell our house. So that's how crazy it gets when a family member gets sick and there is no any health insurance or any medical fund or any life insurance. So we passed away 8 months after, leaving me and my daughter. So imagine a 2-income household, and the other income is gone. So all bills was on me, and all the debts that were piled up when he was sick. So really, it was not easy. So it's important that, for especially with new families to have something like that, health insurance or medical fund. In Philippines don't have much.
I know, and I think we forget when something like this happens. If your money's not in order, you're already in the process of grieving, and the emotional support you need. The money is the last thing on your mind because you're getting over the grief of being a single mom now.
Correct.
So what advice?
I went through all of that.
Yeah. What advice would you give anybody listening now? I mean, when you look back, what do you wish you had done?
Looking back, I wish we were able to plan our finances well. I wish we were able to plan our future well. I had so many friends from life insurance who tells me that, this is very important. But, because we are young, we're healthy, we think that we are untouchable, like we are immovable, and nothing will happen to us. We're like in denial. It can happen to others, but it will not happen to us.
I think most of us are in denial, honestly. I think we think we're going to live forever. And I think that's just human nature. It's when something bad happens, it wakes you up. That's the unfortunate situation with all of us.
Yes, and it's like our thinking was that if this is happening to others, but it will never happen to us. So there's no need to get any health insurance or medical fund.
Yeah, I totally agree.
My advice as a widow, it's very important that we take this thing seriously. Okay. Because when we need it, we cannot get it anymore. Yeah. So how will life look like?
Mary, I want to thank you so much for sharing your story, and I hope you and your little daughter are doing well.
Yes, we're doing well by God's grace. Thank you so much, Putnam, and I'm happy to be sharing my story as well.
Thank you, Mary. Take care. Thank you so much. Well, we're going to be finding out about another man who I think he actually did invest in life insurance, and thank God he did.
More of Afternoons with Helen Farmer is Afternoons with Helen Farmer on Dubai Eye 103.8.
With House and House, 10 years of unlocking opportunities in Dubai real estate.
It is Poonam Verma with you till 5 p.m, filling in for Helen. Now, we're talking about life insurance. Many of us don't even consider it until something actually happens. Do we really need it? Well, we've just spoken to Mayor Sadera. She's now a financial advisor after her husband died in 2018, a young couple. He died due to cancer and left her alone with a 5-year-old daughter. Sanaya Zuberi, she is the senior digital marketing lead at Zurich. She's with us in the studio. I'm going to be talking to a cancer patient who was really grateful that he actually did have life insurance. Pratik Desai. So Pratik, tell us a little bit about your story.
Hi, I'm Pratik Desai. I have been in Dubai since last 7 years, and like most of us, we always think if we are on the fitter side of the generation, like I am, I'm a triathlete, we think we don't need a life insurance. Especially in my lifestyle, who's been doing running and endurance sports since 2010 and been always on the fitter side of the things. I always thought of the same. But COVID changed my outlook with so many people dying eventually of COVID. I just thought to myself, I was in that age category where I had a son, I had my parents. I need to kind of secure some kind of life insurance for myself and my family in case things go south with either of the ends, be it my parents or my kid or anything. Life's just become very uncertain after 2020. That's when I kind of tried to ask around and met a friend who's also a dear friend and a financial advisor. And he suggested me one of the policies which covers me for life on me paying a certain premium, and also helped me and insisted that I also opt for the critical illness cover.
Okay, and what does critical illness cover basically cover, Sanaya?
So that's a good question. Thank you, Poonam. So what we think is we have health insurance, right?
Yeah.
And it's mandated in this country. So we think that's enough when it comes to, something happens to us. Health insurance will cover it. But CI, critical illness, is very different. It's essentially a lump sum of money that will be given into your bank account if something like a heart attack or cancer, a serious illness, occurs to you. There are a lot of costs that you don't estimate when you fall sick.
Yeah.
For example, if you want to go back home and get treated. For example, if you lose your job because you're unwell, your expenses are going to continue. How are you going to take care of those expenses? So this is just lump sum of money into your bank account. You use it however you need to use it. Pratik was with us at an event yesterday, and he used the word relief. He said this was like financial relief.
That's a good
once
word.
it comes into your account. You can worry about getting better. You don't have to worry about the financial aspect.
So
of it.
what did it cover for you, Pratik?
It covered me, I would say, a good amount of money, which is kind of for me to take my treatment cost for now and even for the next 2 years, because cancer is something which can again come back if you're out of remission, and mine something is chronic, so I don't know how and when the future holds for me.
But can I ask, the amount that you put in,
Mm-hmm.
was it less than the amount that is being used on your medical?
I would not say I
treatment?
got lucky, because this is nothing to be, I hope I was not lucky, but it depends when you get, you don't know when you're going to get sick.
Yeah, I know.
You don't know when you're going to get a stroke or a cancer.
Such a positive show today.
So
I know.
I was supposed to pay for X number of years, let's say 15 or 18 years.
Yeah.
I paid 3 years premium, and I got this illness, and Zurich was immediately kind enough to remit that money as soon as they found the diagnosis right within 36 hours into my bank account.
Well, some of the key findings are heart attack, strokes are the primary cause of death. 36% of claims accounts for that, followed by cancer at 25%. Heart attack, strokes have doubled for women, rising from 7 to 14% in just a year.
Yeah.
Cancer constitutes 80% of cases in women, with ovarian cancer as the second leading cause. And 1 out of 4 men have claimed insurance for cancer, with prostate and stomach cancer amongst the leading causes. Is that specifically in this region then? It's the
Yes.
Middle East report. Why? I mean, what is the average age you're seeing? Has it got less when it comes to people having heart attacks or cancer?
It has. Actually,
Why?
The average age of a life claim, so of someone dying in the region, is 53 years, which is actually worrying, because this is when you are at your peak of financial responsibility. Like your children might be going off to college, your bills for your parents, taking care of their medical issues might be going up. You have a mortgage that you need to pay out. Also, when it comes to critical illness, the average age for a critical illness claim was 50 years, which is, again, you're at the peak of your financial responsibility. That's something that came out in our report that we launched yesterday.
Okay, so Pratik, any final advice for anybody out there listening?
First advice is get yourself completely checked up at the hospital. That would be my first advice. And the second advice would be go and secure yourself with regards to your health, because most of the people, especially I've noticed in Dubai, are thinking they have a medical insurance from their employer.
Yeah.
But life is very uncertain, and so are the jobs.
Yeah.
You have one recession like 2008, God forbid, did not come, and the jobs go. You are without an insurance at an age of 45, where the premiums are going to cost you a bomb.
I think it's like what Mayor said on the phone. Everyone's in denial. We all think we're
Absolutely.
untouchable. And I'm getting anxiety even thinking about it. I just think everybody, when they're young, should go through a course of talking about this, at a young age, in their 20s, university. We're wasting so much of our life partying. These are the most important things.
Unfortunately, many people still think cancer, back in the earlier days, probably not even when I was born, cancer and AIDS were associated together.
Totally.
So it's still considered as a taboo to talk about cancer.
But you're a triathlete. You're a
Yes.
healthy man, anything can happen, touch wood. Well,
Exactly.
thank you so much for sharing your stories. I really appreciate it.
Your ARN News.